Hello.
Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
Really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
when you're
the
275 pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
the Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know.
He's like,
he's up there slapping it, pissing all over everything.
Is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
That's right. I know.
Why did you say his name?
Hervé Villagers.
You know what pert near means.
If you know what pert near means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pert Near Outdoors. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode. This is your host Billy, and this is episode 50. We've made it. We've made it to the halfway century mark. It's a damn miracle. Thanks for following along with us, and if you are recently new to listening to this podcast, welcome aboard, and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the content we're putting out. So this week, I'm joined by Mike Herne. You may or may not know who Mike is. Mike is just a regular Joe, just like the rest of us. Actually currently active duty Army, has been in the military or in the Army since he got out of high school. We'll hear a little bit about that and his journey. But Mike's a guy I've been watching for about a couple of years now, and really think he's a good representation of somebody who works hard, gets out there, just a regular guy, and finds a way to consistently get it done, doing whatever it is that he's doing, and takes the fitness side seriously. Obviously, being active in the military, staying up on top of all that stuff. But he's just a fun, entertaining guy to follow along with. So we really didn't talk a whole lot about his social media, what he does with that. But check him out on Instagram. If you just search Mike Herne, you'll find him on there, and I'll tag him in our social media posts so you can find him there. But definitely a great guy to follow along. Keeps it real, keeps it entertaining, and that's that. So I think you'll pretty quickly pick up on that as you listen to this episode. If you have children children in the car, or in earshot, be aware. There's some adult language used and some fun adult stories shared. So just take caution of that. But definitely a fun conversation. I didn't really have a big roadmap for what we were going to chat about today. Wanted to hear a little bit about his background. He is from upstate New York, so we talked a little bit about that, where he's from, what he's done, how he's gotten into the big game hunting that he's done, and actually spent a good portion of this podcast talking about his elk hunts in Colorado. So that was fun. We did not get into gear much. We talked a little bit about that, but mainly it was just hearing some stories from his experiences hunting big game in Colorado. So it was a very fun conversation, but I'm geared up to have him back on here because I want to know more, and I think he has some good insight on different gear and things that he carries into the backcountry on his adventures, and as well as whitetail, as he's a passionate whitetail hunter too when he's not chasing elk around. So that's that with kind of what the rundown is of this discussion. We do get into towards the end of the conversation. I had brought up a recent podcast I had listened to, and kind of some of my I made a comment about my frustrations with some of the things that I see within the industry once I open my eyes up to it and start seeing it. But he also brought up I'm glad we talked about it because he agreed, but he also gave another angle too, which made me kind of hit the pause button as I listened back to this while I was editing, and kind of think about it from a personal level. You look at this as hunting is my passion. It's not my profession. So I'm not in this to make a living. So if I flip it around and look at myself and what I do for a living, I'm a salesperson by trade, and I've worked for different dealerships selling different products and different brands, and that's my job, and I'm supposed to believe in what I'm selling, and I'm trying to earn a living. So I kind of took a step back after, listening to our conversation back and kind of thought a little bit differently about it. And, I still feel it's super important to all of us that have a platform, whether you are doing this for a living or not. It's very important that we are upfront and honest about the experience we have with the products and why we're using them. And because there's a lot of people watching, and there's, especially right now, it seems that there's an influx of new hunters and new people into this passion that we have of the outdoors and in hunting, and folks are listening. So it's very important to me, and it's important to me to bring this up, that what we do here at Pert Near Outdoors, the products I use personally, the stuff Jimbo uses, the stuff Danny uses, Brian, Dallas, any of the guys that are around us here, just because we're using it does not mean that it's what you have to use. Certainly we all use different things for our own reasons, but think about that. Don't just run out and drop $500 on something just because you see someone else using it. Do your research, ask your questions, make sure it's well vetted and understood, what the benefits are of that product and whether or not it's the right one for you. And we talked about it last week in the episode with Earth Spirits, that on the archery side of things, something like a bow, a gun, and it even gets down to clothing and things like that. Different fits for different people, and a bow that feels great to me might not feel great to you. So, try to take that into consideration. Right now, marketing is a powerful thing. Social media is a powerful thing, and you see X person using X brand, you believe you have to use that, and you can go out there in the field and shoot the buck of your dreams wearing blue jeans and a Carhartt jacket. So don't get too caught up in it. I'm the pot calling the kettle black, but it's been years and years, and I love the gear side of it. If that's your thing, have at it, but just don't feel like you have to have everything that everybody else has. So that's my little opinion on things today, and I'm glad Mike and I talked about that. Being somebody in himself that aspires to have a career after the military in the outdoor industry, I think he definitely has a good view on that, as he's already kind of getting a little bit into the industry and has seen the other side of it, working in it. So good stuff there. Hope you guys enjoy the conversation. Certainly sounded to me like an entertaining one, so I hope you enjoy it too. We'll try to keep this content coming. We got some more good episodes on the docket, and enjoy the rest of your week. Stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, and keep fading them. See ya.
What's up?
Not much, man. How are you?
Do I got video up or no?
No, I just see a picture of you with a nice looking bull.
I don't know how to work Zoom yet. There we go.
There it is. Wow, look at a bull picture, then a
There
bull
it is.
skull.
Yeah. Oh,
Your wall looks a lot better than my wall.
Fridays and Monday. Yeah, it's not. It's here. I'll give you the kind of.
Ooh,
Some
look at
over
that.
there. Over there, and there's a turkey on the wall over there.
Nice.
I'm too cheap to pay for neck shoulder mounts, so
Yeah.
DIY Euros.
Yep. I love that, because I was just thinking about it, because I'm sitting down here and these are a few of the bucks I've shot, and my better ones are upstairs, but I don't have anything. I have a bear that's 3/4 mount, but
Yeah, I do that with a bear.
yeah, I don't know when I'll shoot another one here in New York. So that was a pretty special deal.
I'll tell you, growing up there, I mean, there's you'll see bears all the time, but I saw a bear one time in the woods. Wasn't in range.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
It's few and far between. I bet you nowadays, if you're up there, you'd be seeing them a lot more. And there's a lot of bears down that way right now.
Yeah. That's what people were saying when I was there last weekend.
So let's jump right into it, because we're already talking, but
yeah,
tonight I'm joined
a little
by
late.
Yeah, hey man, better late than never.
Yeah.
We both have you had movie night going on, I had bedtime with the kids, so I'm joined by Mike Herne this week. So Mike Herne is a upstate New York native, and I've been following along with him for quite a while now, probably year and a half, 2 years. I'm not exactly sure how I stumbled across you, but you're a pretty entertaining dude to follow, and I've really been wanting to get you on here just to shoot the shit. And I think you're a pretty cool guy who's got a cool story and like what you're all about. So thanks for jumping on with me.
Cool. Thanks for having me, and same to you. I'm blushing now.
Oh, stop. Yeah, we can't actually bullshit that because we can actually see ourselves. So
yeah.
So let's start right off with that because we kind of started talking a little bit about the New York connection. So you are from the southern tier of New York, upstate,
Yep.
southern tier. So why don't you go right into the background, where you're from, kind of where you planted your roots, and how you got started hunting.
All right. So I'm from upstate New York. I probably rode on school buses that you sold.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm not old enough, or you're
Not
probably
yet.
not old enough, but kids in my hometown are riding on school buses that you sold. But yeah, I grew up in Addison, New York, super small town, not a lot to do, but get in trouble, right? So,
Yeah.
and so I didn't really fish and hunt a whole bunch. I was around, I did it, but it was like, oh, let's go out and deer hunt. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't fired up about it. It was like, go out with the slug gun on opening day, whack a deer. Now let's go back to like sports and booze and chasing women kind of thing.
Yeah.
Typical.
What did you what year did you graduate?
2006.
So you and I I graduated in 06 as well. So we're
Okay.
exactly the same age. So that's kind of funny because I was wondering how old you were. So we were exactly the same age at the same time. What sports did you play?
Soccer.
Soccer?
We didn't have a football team, so I played soccer, and then I wrestled from like elementary into middle school, and then a little bit in junior high, and then I got tired of getting ringworm and rolling around with dudes on mats, basically wearing a singlet, which is basically a one-piece bathing suit, right? So
Yeah.
I joined the swim team, and
Hey, why not?
I'm looking around for my wife right now. Swim team was awesome. There's
Yeah.
chicks.
It's great. Yeah.
Hood rat things went down in the back of buses on the way back from swim meets. Like, so, but I was surprised too. I was like, you know what? Screw the wrestling team. I'm going to join the swim team. And I was shocked at how much harder swimming was than wrestling. Like, wrestling's hard because you gotta have a little bit of endurance, but if you got good technique, you're all right.
Yeah.
But with swimming, man, they were feeding me during. I was like, "What do you guys get? I get food during swim practice." And then I swam a couple 800s and 500s and swimming 1,000 one day for practice. And I'm like, "Holy crap!" Like, this stuff's not easy.
Yeah, you burn just massive amounts of calories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my wife was a huge swimmer, her and her sister in high school, and it's a whole nother. It's like every high school sport, I guess, has its own little culture. But like that's funny because wrestling and swimming, I feel like, are two that are like they're like cult like things when you're in those. You don't do other, you might do other things, but you're like all in on that stuff.
Yeah, you absolutely are. They're definitely, because they're both winter sports, right? So we had basketball, soccer, or basketball, wrestling, and swimming. I'm only 5'5", so I wasn't fucking playing basketball.
Right.
That's not.
I don't know. You
not
might
heaven.
be able to down there in Addison. I mean,
no, there's still a few tall kids. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just was like, screw it, I'm gonna swim. It was cool. It's a good experience. Where'd you go to high school at?
I went to Honey Falls, Lima, which is up a suburb of Rochester. So just south of like Henrietta is the most populated area.
I feel so. Is that like? Isn't there a town, Honeyway Falls, right?
Yeah, Honeyway Falls. There's a town, and then there's one of the Finger Lakes is Honeyway Lake. And so a lot of people that aren't from the immediate area get it confused because they think Honeyway and Honeyway Falls are the same thing, but it's two different towns.
I feel like we played Honeyway Falls for soccer. I think.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah, because I think Addison, you guys had a pretty good soccer program just because you probably didn't have football and
we didn't have anything else. Exactly. Yeah, soccer was it.
You very well could have.
Yeah, we had a good soccer program. Our wrestling program is pretty dang good. And I don't know about our basketball, but our baseball team is pretty good too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I never traveled that area as much as I have recently. I cover that territory, as you mentioned, for my job. And I love it down there. I mean, it's a pretty unique area. It's just very rolling, and you got you get down towards Corning, and in that area, it's all just these long. There's really not a lot of variation. It's just you got basically the valley, and then you just got the hills above. But
yeah.
I actually am delivering school buses to Addison this upcoming week.
Are you?
And yeah, Wednesday. And right across from the bus garage, there's a big side hill, and it's all oak. And I just sit there every time I'm down there. I'm like, man, I wonder what that's like hunting up there.
You talking about up behind the school? Where are we talking about?
Well, the bus garage is like on the other side of whether that's some kind of a man-made river or dike that goes through. So the bus garage is, I think, on the other side it's on the south side of the dike.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking up towards the elementary school, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it'd be to the south. There's that, and I think that might be state land up there, isn't it? Or
oh yeah, no, yeah. That's actually, so you saw that picture I posted on my Instagram of looking down in the valley.
Mm-hmm.
So if you keep going straight out that road from the bus garage, that we were up on top of that hill.
Oh, no
and
shit.
It butts up to state land. Yeah, we were drinking beers and bombing through there and on side by sides.
Awesome.
That night. It was a good time. But yeah, no, I've got some buddies that have taken a few decent deer off the top of that hill.
Yeah, I bet. That's like Steuben. I don't know. Growing up, I mean, was Steuben County known for its deer down there, or not really?
I don't know. I don't know if Steuben County was ever a big deer, babe. Was Steuben County known for big deer? She says, yeah.
Yeah.
She's seen a plenty killed.
Oh, so your wife's from back here too.
Oh yeah, she's an Addisonite too.
Nice.
Born and bred. Her uncle killed a monster this year. Did he kill it in Steuben County? I don't know. She says he killed it in Steuben County. It was a big deer. It was well over 150.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a guy that's in the last 3-4 years, he shot a couple over 170 on public land in Steuben County.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've seen the deer. It's no shit, and it's that I think it's getting a lot better down there. I mean, that's, if you ask somebody around here now, that's one of the most highly regarded areas and one of the toughest areas to get property, good hunting property. It's in Steuben County. So,
man, knowing what I know now, I wish, because I grew up my graduating class was my graduating class was like 60 something people. We were drinking on every one of these farmers' fields every Saturday and Friday and Saturday night. So, and all their kids are my friends. Knowing what I know now, I'm like, God dang, why didn't I hunt more?
I know. I think that's, we're exactly the same age, and it's so funny. I mean, there's so much stuff I wonder. It's like, why did I not think about all this? There's so much information out there now, and I think you probably consume a lot of the same, podcasts and some of the same stuff I do. And it's like the amount I've learned in the last 4 or 5 years, if I would have known a quarter of that in the time I was just wandering around, screwing off in the woods and not really being serious about it, where would I be right now? And the answer to that is I'd be 10 years ahead of where I am right now. That's just the way it works. But
oh yeah,
part of the process.
Absolutely, it definitely is.
So after high school, you moved on to the military, correct? Is that what you ended up doing?
Yep. So I joined the Army. I actually, small town, got in a lot of trouble my junior year. So I failed my junior year and then got my crap together my senior year, and I went to BOCES. You probably, I don't know if the majority of your listener base is from upstate, but everybody up there knows what BOCES is. So I went to BOCES, I knocked out my entire junior year and my senior year by February. So I was at basic training in May 2006. I didn't even walk across the stage of my graduating class.
Wow, awesome.
But yeah, so joined the Army. Lived in Italy for a little bit. Spent a good bit of time in Trashcanistan, and then moved to North Carolina. Moved to Fort Benning to be a one-station unit training drill sergeant down there. And that's where like the fire got lit for hunting, was being on Fort Benning, just because they had such a good program. You could hunt all year round because they had wild pigs, which is, I think that's what really kind of boosted my knowledge. Like beyond where it would have been had I just started out hunting whitetail, because I could hunt all year and I wasn't just sitting in a tree. I was able to go out and spot and stalk. Started spot and stalking pigs with my rifle, and then I was like, all right, this is too easy. Let's start doing it with a bow. And then, yeah. And then
Now, was that property on the base?
Yeah,
That was base
on the
property, right?
base. Yeah. I think they got like 100. What is it? It's like 189. I could be misquoting. It's 289,000 acres. So,
Damn. Yeah.
and it's all training area. So it's all managed by the people that open and close the range. There's a specific entity on every base called range control.
Mhm.
And so they manage the training areas, and the map basically, if you looked at like the GMU map for Colorado with all the
Yeah.
different game management units, that's basically how they had Fort Benning broke down. Is into, obviously, they're a lot smaller, right? They're only a couple 100 acres units, but they have it broken down, and then they have an open and closed area sheet, and it's super well organized, and it was a great experience. But
That's cool to have that right there, and you don't even have to go anywhere. It's right
Nope.
on the base. And
yeah, exactly.
yeah, I feel like having the opportunity, like you said, that's such a great opportunity to shoot all them, to go after something like pigs that you can just hunt whenever you want. Like, I think I've talked about that with a few different people on here, and I went through it as well. Like everybody's so focused on shooting that big buck and doing what they do on TV. But if you don't learn how to, kill something over and over and over again, it's super hard to be effective when you do get that opportunity. So, I think with you having the chance to chase pigs around and make mistakes and not care because it was just a pig, and,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to worry about that. So,
No, yeah, it definitely, as far as my knowledge of animal behavior and kind of the stuff that I feel like is probably, it's common sense to you and I, but might not be common sense to a new hunter, or second nature. I don't know the right word for it, but it's like pertaining to animal behavior. You just, those having the ability to have that many encounters really, I mean, like I said, it skyrocketed me as far as knowledge and all that experience and knowledge goes.
yeah. So I would assume you ended up getting into quite a bit of deer hunting on the base down there too, or did that end up, because now you're in Tennessee now, right?
Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay.
So just a couple hours north of Tennessee. Yeah. So I got into whitetail hunting on Fort Benning too. And Fort Benning's really where I got into bow hunting too. So I grew up with stepbrothers that loved to bow hunt, and I had a bow growing up, and I just had no interest in shooting it. I was like, this thing's too hard to shoot. I'm not interested. Like, I can hit stuff with my Ithaca Buckbuster 12 gauge.
Yeah.
But yeah, at Benning, because it extended my season so much, I was like, I'll try this bow hunting thing. Let's see what it's all about. And eventually, shooting stuff with a rifle just wasn't giving me that. When a deer would walk out and I had my rifle, it wasn't giving me that heart in my throat feeling,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's try. We're just gonna try to do it just all with the bow. And then if we hit dire straits, we'll grab a rifle. But yep. So it was good though. I mean, I can't say enough good things about Fort Benning's program down there.
So then how'd you end up transitioning into getting into Western hunting? Because that is when I think I kind of maybe picked up following you along as you started going on your trips out west, and getting into elk hunting.
Yeah. So I heard an elk bugle. I didn't even know what an elk was. In 2013, when I got to Fort Benning, I didn't have a clue what an elk was, right? I mean, I might have known what they were, but I was like, whatever, it's an elk. So I heard an elk bugle, and then that was right around the time the Gritty Bowman was getting big with Snyder and Brian Call, and I'd always kind of followed Snyder a little bit, especially, and Kafari, because we were running their backpacks in like 2008 when we were in Afghanistan. So on
Okay.
my first deployment. But so that was when that was starting to get big. And then I started, Cameron Haynes, and I'm like, what are these massive animals he's killing? And then I'm like, the first time I heard an elk bugle, I was like, I have to experience that. Like, I have to hear that in person. So, my drill sergeant tour was 24 months. So I spent just a little bit over 2 years at Fort Benning, and I got an assignment to Fort Carson, Colorado, and completely different unit from where I grew up in an airborne units, jumping out of airplanes, and we're it's a very tight knit, and we drink the Kool-Aid, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's better than paratroopers and that kind of thing. So going to Fort Carson and being what we refer to as a leg, something I said I would never do. And I was like, no, I don't care. I'll be a leg. I need to live in Colorado. I need to be able to elk hunt. So
Yeah.
I went out to Colorado.
What the hell's a leg? Hold on. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm trying to think how the saying goes. What is it? There's two things that stay on the ground: chicken shit and legs. Stuff like so.
Okay.
Just a dirty. So paratroopers, we jump out of airplanes, right? And then
Right.
legs are leg infantry. They're not airborne. So that's what dirty, nasty legs. Like,
That's
oh,
funny.
look at that freaking leg over there.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So it's kind of our derogatory term for personnel that aren't airborne.
Right.
They're just dirty, nasty legs. They stink. They're fat.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I can't. There's a bunch of jokes about that. There's another one that involves bird shit, but I can't remember. But
I can't get enough of that military humor. I just think it's so damn funny.
oh yeah,
Like, you just know that crew of guys. You guys are all,
mm-hmm. Oh, it's the same kind. It's the same kind of humor that you have at a deer camp, really.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
We might get a little bit more vulgar than some deer camps, but
Yeah.
it's all good nature.
Yeah. And usually you'd probably end up wrestling each other a little more than we do at our deer camp. But
yeah, that happens. The infantry is definitely the most, what is the word for it? It's the gayest bunch of straight dudes you'll ever meet, dude. Like, they're grabbing each other's junks, throwing rocks at each other's junk. Like,
yeah,
it's
like
not
15-year-olds is what it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a freaking high school locker room every day.
It's awesome.
100%. So, but yeah, so I went to Carson. Didn't get to elk hunt out there my first year because I got deployed to Kosovo. Came home from that Kosovo trip and was able to kind of earn myself a little bit of time off during elk season, which is kind of unheard of. And I went out there and I stayed in the mountains for 2 weeks, man. I struggled. It was a rough trip. I learned a lot of hard lessons, but I killed an elk on the last night, in the last probably 10 minutes of light on the last night of the hunt.
That's awesome.
And had I not arrowed that bull, we were driving off that mountain and sleeping at the base to drive home the next morning, because it was like a 3-hour drive to get on top of this mountain we were on. The road was so terrible.
Yeah.
But
so I guess I want to pick your brain. Like, your first, so you were living out there, so at least you were there.
mm-hmm.
But what was that like for you? That experience, that's pretty impressive to go off on a 2-week adventure like that. But, coming from right in my backyard, we grew up in the same areas. Obviously you traveled the world a little bit, so you've seen some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But, that, I know for me, my first time up in the mountains, everything I expected it to be was not what it was. And just kind of curious from you, like, what that entire experience was for you getting up in there.
Well, where'd you go?
Hunting.
Yeah.
We were over in the Gore Range. That's where we were. In Colorado.
Colorado. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
How'd you go? Did you fly? You drive?
We drove 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay. So being out there definitely gave me kind of a leg up, right? That 4th of July, my wife and I went out and we scouted. We backpacked around and had little shooter bottles, a fireball. And
yeah.
It was cool, but no real scouting happened. But for me, it was a struggle, man. I shot at 3 bulls. Well, I didn't get to shoot at the first bull. I'll just tell the whole story.
Yeah,
right?
I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
We're out there. Well, I'm out there and I'm hunting, and I did have a local friend, a friend in the area that we hunt. That he's a local, and I don't think he's a very good elk hunter. I hope he doesn't listen to podcasts. But he's a local, right? And he showed me some spots, and he at the time he was timber cutter, so they were cut. He worked for a timber company. They bid on these tracts of timber in the national forest and go in and cut them. So he found a couple spots. He's like, "Hey, I think there's elk in these spots." It's like, "All right, cool. Let's go check them out." And his calling, he's not a bad elk caller, but I don't know if he knows when to call. Right? I hope he doesn't listen to this. So he kind of showed me some areas or keyed me in on some areas, and I kind of went from there. But the first elk I actually encountered, I got to the trailhead at like 5 o'clock in the morning, like super early. And right as I pull in, I'm the only truck at this trailhead, and I'm like, all right. So I was hunting out of my truck. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk down this road. No one else is here. It's good. I beat all the pressure. Same stuff if you're pulling up to a public land parking area, right?
Yeah.
And this guy and his kid in a side by side pull up. And they hop out. And they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And we start talking. He's like, "Yeah, it's his first time. It's his first year being able to elk hunt. We're going to take him out." I was like, "Well, where are you guys hunting?" He's like, "We're planning on going this way." I was like, "Well, I was planning on going this way." He's like, "Do you just want to hunt together? That way we don't screw each other up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." It's like, "Well, I guess I'm not killing an elk today. Like, if we encounter an elk today, that kid's definitely going to get to shoot it before me." So we walk down this closed logging trail, and he rips a cow call and immediately gets a bugle back. And so we keep going down, and we keep going down the road, and we're kind of in this new growth pines, like the jack pines. And we get down there, and we can hear elk. We're standing on this logging road, and we can hear two bulls sparring in the jack pines. They couldn't have been 50 yards away, but the jack pines are so, they're over our heads, and they're so thick. We're like, all right. So we set his boy up in one of those cuts where the bulldozers will kind of doze off the dirt as they're dozing down the road.
Okay.
And we set his kid up on one of those, and we went through the other side of the pines and started just breaking sticks, and he was ripping on a bugle, and all of a sudden a bull bugled below us on the opposite side. So on the back side of those pines, it went down into drainage, and a bull started bugling down there, and he's like, all right, well, we got 3 bulls. He's like, you run down there and try to kill that bull. So I ran down the hill, and I probably got 50 yards down that hill and saw the bull coming. So I jumped behind a tree because I'm a whitetail hunter.
Right.
Never hunted elk. So I jumped behind a tree, and I get my rangefinder out. This elk runs he couldn't have been more than 5 yards in front of me, just on the other side of the tree. I got my bow in one hand, rangefinder in another, and that bull's staring at me through this pine tree. And I'm just like, what do I do now? So I stand there for a bit as he stands there and stares at me. I'm like, screw it. Drop the rangefinder. Try to get my release on my D-loop, and he takes off, and he runs up the hill towards where the collar is. He kind of runs out and around. The collar's directly above me. And then he's running on the top of the ridge back towards the collar, and he's at about 50 yards. So I'm like, all right, let's go. And then he stops and turns and takes off. Well, I turn around, and a cow is following him up the hill. So she stops. Oh, let's see. I think I put my 30 pin on her and zinged it right over her back. So she had to have stopped at 20 yards. I didn't know what. At this point,
your rangefinder was on the ground.
It's on the ground.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that again. Now, hindsight being 2020, had I just stopped in my tracks and got my release on my D-loop and got my bow drawn, I'd have shot that bull in the chest at 5 yards.
Right.
But being the whitetail hunter, so that's immediately, never again will I stop behind anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will stand out in the open if I have to. And I mean, I was on the side of a hill, so I had stuff to kind of break up my outline. I wasn't contrasting the background too bad.
It's such a hard thing to get through your head when that's the way you were brought up to hunt,
Yeah.
like you're just
Oh,
always
yeah.
trying to find something to get behind.
Mhm.
I do the same thing. and I've heard it, and it's still challenging. And until you put yourself in that situation, it's so hard to actually not do what your body and mind are telling you to do.
Yep. And well, and that for me, that was heartbreaking. I was like, well, it's a 6% success rate with a bow in this unit. Like that bull came in hot, stopped 5 yards in front of me. Like that's not going to happen again this trip, right? That was what I'm thinking in my mind. Like
This
I
is
almost
day
wanted
one,
to,
right?
No, this is about a weekend.
Oh, okay.
This is about a weekend with a little bit of no real action. This is the first, like, like that morning, I was like, "This is elk hunting. All right, this is what I saw in the Primos videos, right?"
Yeah.
So that bull, I missed the cow. Bull takes off. I don't even think I went and got my arrow because I was so boo-boo lipped, and I had to go back down the hill to get my rangefinder. Like I would hike back up the hill with my bottom lip out, and got up there, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta go back down this hill and get my rangefinder." Those other two bulls never crossed the road. That they heard that other bull coming up the hill screaming, and with him bugling, those two bulls took off. So his boy didn't get to get into one either. That very same night, I went down the same road, but instead of going off the left side as you're walking down the road, I went off the right side because the road was kind of on a ridge between two drainages. I went off the right side, and I sat in this tiny little meadow with a big wallow in it, but it wasn't fresh. And I just sat there, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit here like I'm deer hunting, right? I found a comfortable log to sit on. I just sat there. I rip a cow call, and I get like half a bugle from a bull. All of a sudden, I see the bull. I'm like, holy crap, this is the same day, right? I'm like, all right, don't screw this up, Mike. Don't screw this up. Bull keeps coming. I get to my knees when he's behind a tree, get my bow drawn. He's at 30 yards. The tree behind him was 30. I'm like, all right, this is perfect. I made a little cow noise with my mouth, stopped him at 30, perfectly broadside. It's like, done deal, baby. Let the arrow fly, and sounded like I nailed a tree, right? I hit that bull right in the shoulder blade.
Oh no.
With some Schwacker broadheads. And
didn't go through the plywood like it does in the commercial, or what?
Didn't go through the elk wood.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I'm not a big mechanical broadhead user, but I just got back from a bunch of schools, and I barely had time to shoot my bow, and I didn't. The shop I was taking my bow to they couldn't get it to tune right. I don't think it was a very good shop. So my bow wasn't tuned. I was like, all right, I got to make this work. So I'm using mechanical broadheads. All right, the practice tips are hitting generally with my field tips. Like we're calling it good and we're rolling.
Yeah.
So I was super unprepared as far as shooting goes. But yeah, so I nailed him in the shoulder blade, and I immediately knew. I was like, yeah, he ran like 20 yards and then stopped and looked around. It's like, what's going on? And then kept walking off. Didn't find much blood. We went back out there and looked the next day because my buddy, one of the half mile, not half, 3/4 of my arrow broke off. He's like, that's a good bit of blood. Let's go look. I'm like, all right, we'll go look, but he ain't dead. So we went and spent the entire next morning looking for him, and nothing. Not hide or hair, no blood. So now I'm in a 24-hour span. I'm super dejected, right? Like
shot and missed one and hit one in the shoulder.
Yep, and could have killed one at point blank range.
Oh
and
yeah,
that bull that came into point blank range was a good bull. I mean, he's probably like that one.
You had to have been shitting your pants that your first time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That close, Jesus mighty.
Absolutely, I was like, this is cool. And the guy I was hunting with he's a pretty experienced elk hunter. I don't know if he's born and raised in Colorado, but he's been hunting out there for years. And he said, he's like, hey man, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a very uncommon morning on public land. He's like, and he said it. He's like, it's like a freaking Primos video. I mean, we had bulls bugling over here. We had those two bulls sparring. We're trying to call those two bulls in, and a bull runs up behind us. He's like, that's not a normal morning of hunting on public land out here.
No,
especially an over-the-counter unit. So, so that happened, and then I linked up with one of my buddies. I think he took the second. So we always go out for the first couple weeks of season. So I was out there for the first week, and my buddy linked up with us for the second week, and we took off to a new area, and that area was a mess as far as steepness goes. It was a massive mountain. The only way to get on the mountain was to drive to the top of it, and then to get to the elk, you had to walk down it. I mean, we were parked at, I think, 11,500 feet.
Oh, wow.
And so you had to drop off the mountain to get to the elk because the road ran on the top. So they're not hanging out up top. They're kind of staying in the middle ground, but it's super steep. So we hunted out there, and we'd seen some bulls out there. I glassed a couple bulls up, but I couldn't get them. I was trying to call them from way too far away, and they weren't having it. So it's the last night of the hunt. Well, it's the last day of the hunt, right? We had an elk bugling. So we start running down another old logging trail. And my buddy's like, stop, stop, stop. We look to our left, and there's a bull down there just taking off, right? And I was like, dude, he sounded way further away than where he was.
Yeah.
Because we were hauling ass down the trail to close the distance and get closer. So that happened, and we're like, all right, we're going to go out. We're going to hunt the evening, and then we're going to come back. We'll drive off the mountain, cook dinner, sleep at the trucks, and then we'll drive home. So we go out we're war gaming for the evening, and I'm like, all right, I think there's a nice bench, kind of not super far, like a mile away from where we're parked, and down the hill, there's a super nice bench. And I'm like, man, you should go sit that bench and see what happens. I'm going to walk all the way to the bottom of this mountain. No, I wasn't. That was super far. So I probably get a quarter to maybe like just short of a halfway down the mountain. I hit a big boulder field. A thunderstorm's rolling in, and I'm like, I don't know if I feel like walking all the way to the bottom of this thing. And at the bottom of this mountain, it's all private land surrounded. This entire mountain surrounded by private land. So I'm like, there's not much you can do at the bottom
once you get down there. Yeah.
But and then you got to carry an elk back out. Like there's no way to get it out unless one of those landowners is going to let us go through their ranch. So
Right.
I hadn't thought that far ahead. I just want to kill an elk. I'll destroy my body after. It's fine.
Right.
So I was like, nah, I'm not going to go down there. And on the side of the mountain we were on, we actually had cell service. So I text my buddy. I'm like, hey, where are you at? He's like, I'm over here where we saw that bull the other day or this morning. And I'm like, all right. So you're not at that bench I told you to sit at. So I hike up to that bench, and I hike up to that bench, and I hear a branch break down just a little bit below the bench. And I see the white butt of an elk stop right as, and it's starting to cool off. It's starting to get dark. So my thermals are going downhill. So I see that elk butt down there, and I'm like, yeah, it's dead downwind to me. Like that elk takes off. I don't know if it was a bull, cow, or what. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go down there where I just saw that elk, and I'm going to try to call from there. So I go down there, and I let out some cow calls. Well, from the top of the hill, a bull comes in. And I think I ranged him at like 40-ish yards. I don't really remember, but I ranged him at he was beyond 30 when I ranged him. I'm like, all right, I can make that shot. Let her rip right over the back again. Right.
Jeez.
This time I kept my cool. Right. I watched the elk run because that one I hit in the shoulder blade ran off and then stopped. Right. They're not like whitetail where unless they know like for sure. And I was in some decent cover. So they're not like whitetail where they're like, I think that's sketchy, so I'm just going to hightail it to the next field. They're
Right.
like, not really sure what that was. What's going on out here? So that bull ran about 20 yards and stopped. I cow called again, and he came down the hill to me, and he stopped. I think it was about 25, 24 yards where he stopped. I didn't range him. All I knew is all my pins were on his body.
Yeah.
And he was quartered to me hard, and I'm like, well, it's now or never, Butch. So let another one rip, and I didn't get a pass through, but it was in there deep, and I was like, all right, here we go. Now we're in it. So bull took off. I texted my buddy, got him to meet me on that logging trail, and I spent probably an hour looking for my pack because I left it on top of the hill. When I saw that elk the first time take off, I dropped my pack right there and went down. Dumb idea.
Yeah.
Never leave your pack.
Yeah,
ever.
that's an important thing but isn't it funny how you probably knew better, but you just lose your shit as soon as you hear them or see them, like
Oh, yeah.
everything that's in your mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So go ahead.
So my buddy links up with me. We get headlamps on. We go to where I shot. Because I left my bow where I shot and turned one of those nocturnal knocks on so I could find it. Dropped our packs there, right? And then we started kind of trying to find the blood trail. Once we picked up the blood trail, we picked up our packs, we grabbed my bow, and we started following the blood trail. Followed blood for almost 350 yards, and then we kind of followed it up over a rise, kind of, but the terrain's like this, right? So we're following it like that, super steep, and the blood starts getting real spotty, and then we lose it, right? And after 350 yards of blood trailing, your eyes are straining anyways. And it's dark now. I mean,
Right.
It was damn near dark when I shot that bull. So we start to lose it, and I'm like, all right, well, we're in another drainage now. And I'm like, he probably ran downhill. There's no way he went uphill. So I turn my headlamp on as high, as bright as I can get it, and I'm just looking all over. I can't find it. I'm like, man, I probably only got one lung, and we probably just pushed this sucker on the other side of the mountain. I was like, all right, well, let's back out till the sun comes up because both our eyes are shot. So let's back out till the sun comes up. So we're spending the night on the mountain that we didn't want to spend the night on. So we went back to the trucks. My buddy got up super early that morning. He went out and hunted. I got up right when it was light enough to see and hiked down to the starting point. He came over and linked up with me about the same time, and because he didn't have anything going on where he's at, and we got back. We got to that last blood spot. We found a little bit more blood above us, and I just walked 20 yards up the hill from the log we were sitting on, scratching our heads like, did I one lung this thing? Like, did we just screw this up by going in so soon?
Yeah.
Walked 20 yards up, and he's piled up, like antlers stuck in a tree. Like, he hit the ground running.
Yeah.
20 yards from where we stopped looking. So,
oh, shit.
So then the fun began, and we packed him out. And that was it. That was the last 10 minutes of light and the last day of the hunt. And
What was your thought of packing an elk for the first time?
Oh, it was awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
People talk about how it is shitty, but I'm used to doing extremely shitty stuff.
things.
So,
yeah.
So if I'm doing something shitty that I want to do, and it's because I was successful, right? It's a great feeling.
Yeah. How far down in were you from where you had to take it out? Was it a terrible hike out or no?
It was terrible because we decided it was either like probably 3 to 4 miles back, kind of side hilling back to that logging road, and then going up to the saddle we parked our trucks in,
mm-hmm.
or it was 2 miles straight uphill. So I told my buddy to go get his truck. He brought his truck, parked it straight above it because he dropped a pin on his GPS, parked it straight above us, and while he was doing that, I started breaking down the bull. He got down there, helped me finish breaking it down. We got it in game bags, and we walked up that hill twice for about 2 miles, and it was steep as shit.
Yeah.
It was
after breaking a bull down. And
yeah,
that's a lot of work too if you're doing a lot of that by yourself anyway.
Oh yeah.
Had you ever quartered an animal before, or was that your first time doing it?
I don't know as I've ever like fully quartered. Well, yeah, I have. Yeah, I quartered a few whitetail, but it's a little bit different when you're dealing with. I mean, I'm only 5'5". I'm the size of an elk hind quarter.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I don't know.
It just I was bummed because last year, one of the guys in our group shot a bull on opening day while we were out there, and it sucked because they shot it over the pass from us, and we ended up not being there to help with that whole process. We stayed over on our side.
Oh man.
And that was something I wanted to be part of so bad, was just to go through the breaking down. I mean, we've done probably 20 deer plus, quartering them down and packing them out, but
mm-hmm.
I was gladly part of the packing portion of the adventure, but not of the breaking down. So
yeah,
because I just would have loved to have seen that bull in its glory, laying there, not
yeah.
broken down. You know, it's just, it kind of loses a little bit of the allure when all you see is the quarters and the game bags and things boned out. It's like, man, I wish I would have seen what this thing looked like on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
In
bet
its
you.
natural state.
Absolutely. So is the one behind you in the video, or is it the one the
No, it's this. He's a raghorn, but he's my raghorn.
Yeah,
So,
I would shoot him in a heartbeat, man.
yeah, I'll shoot a bull like that this year. I do not care.
Yeah.
I'm all for killing rags.
So what year was that?
This bull over here was 2017. He was 2018. 2018 story is completely different from 2017. And 2019 was it was a mess.
Yeah, you were out there. You were just getting done with your hunt when we were on our way out, because I remember messaging you asking how it was. I don't think you were too far from where we were hunting.
I don't think so. I'd have to look at where the gore range is. But
yeah, I believe you were not very far from where we were. I'd be happy to tell you where we were. I just don't feel like telling everybody on here exactly where it was. But
we won't tell everybody on there. We'll wait till we're done recording. And we'll talk about it.
But last year, it was, from what I remember, a lot of guys struggled in archery last year out there. It just didn't seem like the rut got going when everybody expected it to. And I think when we got there, it was like the 14th, I think, because we were there for muzzleloader, and the full moon was just coming in. And, you know, that, I don't know if that really affected it too much, but there wasn't as much rutting activity as we were hoping for.
Yeah.
Didn't know if that was just from conditions or pressure or what that was, but
that's so I like going early for elk, and just because it's been my experience, there's less pressure. So, and I super limited experience, right? Like if you put me on the scale of elk hunters, like I am the guy that's going every year to gain experience. I'm very novice, but I have managed to be a part of taking 3 bulls, I've called all 3. So I feel like I got it figured out, and I feel like it's not as hard as people make it out to be. Even last year, so we were there early, and last year was not like the year that I killed the guy behind me. But even last year, we could have killed bulls. We were just being idiots. And the wind, dude, the wind got us. I don't know what was going on with the wind, but the elk gods were not on my side last year at all.
Yeah.
But we were in them. I mean, we were in them quite often. Again, for being on public land, we were in elk, but we just were making dumb mistakes and couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah. I mean, so all of your elk hunting experience has been Colorado, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna start branching out a little bit, getting a little braver. I'm gonna be back out in Colorado in February, officially living. But when I was out there, I changed my residency, so I didn't have to pay $9 million for a tag. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to drive across the country and eat tag soup when you're not paying $700 for it.
Yeah, right. So when you're paying $49. Yeah, it's a little bit easier.
$49. It's way easier. So I changed my residency, but I'm gonna start putting in for New Mexico, because New Mexico's a draw, and then I started buying points in Wyoming too, to do a little bit of that. But I don't know if I'll ever put in for any like the big states like Arizona and Utah and all these. It's just, I don't know if I'll live long enough to draw them, and it's super expensive. Like as long as I can elk hunt every year, right now, I say this now, but as long as I can elk hunt every year and have a shot at a rag, I'm pretty happy. So I'm not trying to kill booners.
No, I mean, I think we all can fall into that. A lot of people fall into it, and I have to a certain extent until recently, where I feel like it's just, you got to get out there and do it, because if you are trying to build points, and so many people are, and that's part of the problem with, you know, the Arizonas and the Utahs and even the good units in Colorado, it's like people are just holding their points forever so they can get that coveted tag, but that might be the only time they ever elk hunt, and you have zero experience being in the elk woods. I mean, you could go on your dream hunt and have never been in the backcountry, and you might only hunt for 2 days because you can't handle being back there. And then there goes that freaking, 20 years of putting in for that dream tag,
Or
Say-
you're harder than woodpecker lips, but you just don't have that experience, right? So you're
Yeah.
jumping behind trees and you're freaking pulling your rangefinder out when you should be drawing your bow, like
right.
um,
Yeah. I mean, you learn those things every single time you're out there,
Yeah.
it's the reality of it. Yeah. I mean, have you run into a ton of pressure in Colorado when you've been out there?
Oh yeah, tons.
Areas you've been? Yeah.
Tons. But the area I've been to, I don't even want to tell you the area because there's so many people that go to it, and Go Hunt kind of screwed it up too.
Go Hunt,
that's all.
the website.
Yeah, they put some stuff out there. Nope, don't look at Go Hunt. I mean, you can look at Go Hunt, but I'm not putting any more tidbits out there. So yeah, it's overrun. But elk, like the spot where I killed this bull behind me. So the spot where I killed this bull behind me, I was sitting on top of, this is the 2018 season. It wasn't even September yet. I killed this bull, I think on August. Like, I don't know. I killed the bull before September. I'm 99.9% sure. So because that season started super early that year because it was before September went to the 2 September opener. So it was always the first Saturday. I don't know what it was, but
yeah,
it opened earlier in August. I think it was closer to like in the August, like the high 20s of August. And we went in this backcountry area and we called 2 bulls in while we were back there. Like we packed in, we took a boat across a lake and we packed in, and we opened in the morning. I called a bull in for my buddy, and this bull stopped at 50 yards and just thrashed a tree. And I was moving back away from my buddy trying to get this bull to break that tree that he was thrashing. And I wish I'd have been up there because I'd have been like, run up there right now with your bow drawn. Like his eyes are closed. He beat the shit out of this tree, and he was a big bull. I don't know how big. All I know is I saw big wide tines coming across the freaking meadow that he ran across to thrash that tree. That was opening morning, and this is like late August, right? So,
yeah.
And then we're at camp early one night, and we got our jet boils or whatever fired up. We're cooking food, and we hear a bull bugle below our camp. I'm like, there's still like 30 minutes of light left. Let's go. So we called this, and he was another big bastard. We called him into 50 yards, and I got my bow drawn. And by the time I'd gotten my bow drawn, because there's 4 of us or 3 of us standing in the open, no one's behind anybody. We're all standing there facing that bull. By the time I got my bow drawn, he had moved just enough into the dark timber where I couldn't see what limbs were in between where my arrow would be in his body. And I was like, I can make a 50-yard shot, but I don't want to just send it into the trees and end up sticking him in the hammy. So he got a pass, and then, well, he didn't get a pass. He took off after that. He kind of was like, I could see across this opening, and there's you 3 retards are standing out there.
And no cows, so I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back where I came from. But that's in late August. So we were in there for like 3-4 days, and my buddy that had the boat had to come out for an appointment. So we came out, and me and my buddy went up to the spot where I had the epic fails the first season. And instead of going off this logging road, we walked down the logging road probably a mile, and then probably right about where I dropped down in to get to that meadow. We went down there, and we just sat on the top of the ridge, and we just sat up there. And it's like 4 p.m. Almost used military time. 1600 for you military types. It's like 1600, and I hear a bugle. And my buddy looks at me, and I look at him, and I'm like, it's 4 p.m. and it's hot as shit. I was like, that's another hunter. I was like, but we'll rip a bugle just in case. So I rip a bugle. About 30 minutes later, I'm looking down into this drainage. My buddy's just leaned up against his pack, and I'm looking down in this drainage, and I'm like, Josh, there's a bull. He's like, shut the fuck up. And last year we were there.
Yeah.
sitting in a very similar spot, like maybe not the same spot on the ridge, but the exact same part of the ridge, right? And we had a spike below us, and it was the same thing. I was like, Josh, there's a spike down there. And he's like, what? And looked, it's like, oh, cool. Maybe it's with some cows. So I'm like, Josh, there's a bull down there. He's like, shut the fuck up. There's no bull down there. I get up on my knees, let a cow call rip. And the bull starts coming up the hill. He got behind a tree. I drew my bow. He walked broadside. I don't know if you saw the video. So I filmed it with my GoPro. So he walks. It's on my Instagram. It's super shitty GoPro video, but he walks broadside on the hill right at about 20 yards and smoked him. He ran down the hill. I got another arrow knocked because I started cow calling when he started running, because that's what I saw on the YouTube videos, right?
Right.
And it worked. He stopped, and I knocked another arrow. And then he probably ran 10 more yards and fell over.
Wow.
And so that's late August. We're not even into September yet. By 2 September, we'd called 8 bulls in and killed 2.
Wow.
And a 170-inch mule deer that my buddy shot when we were in that backcountry area.
That's awesome.
It was a hell of a season. So
was that muley still in velvet?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
my buddy's
that's
got
awesome.
him mounted. I'll have to I'll send you the picture.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. It'll be a good picture for this podcast, because he's standing in front of the boat. It's got all the quarters, and he's just holding the
that's awesome.
head up. Yeah, it's a good picture. But yeah, so that season was night and day difference, right? I had a way more the first season, the only thing I would do was cow call. I don't even know I carried a bugle tube the first season. Second season, I was bugling, and I was bugling my ass off.
Yeah.
I called in hunters. I called in all kinds of critters. I called in elk. I mean, it was just a night and day difference between the two, because I was way more confident in my calling. I had a little bit, after kind of seeing the way things played out last season. It's that experience, right? You don't get that experience watching a YouTube video. You get the experience by just going and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it went from a struggle where, I called 2 elk in, including the one I killed the first season. But can you hear that in the background? Is that too loud?
No, I don't know.
The wife's watching TV in the other room.
That's all right.
So I just didn't know what I was doing calling wise, and I wasn't confident in my calling. And then going into the 2018 season, I was completely confident. And then the things I was trying and the things I was doing out there with my calling kind of bolstered my confidence. All right, I'm starting to get this figured out. So it goes back to the experience thing. And then even last year, I was super confident in my calling, and we were in elk. We just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, at some point you're going to get skunked. I mean, you can't go just every year and whack one. That would just be too impressive.
I don't know. I think it's doable.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that's been our experience, is that, and I don't know if a little bit of it is like, it is tough hunting back east here. So if you can consistently get yourself on animals here, I feel like you can take a lot of that experience and take it out west. But you still have to, there's similar scenarios, but they're different, so it's just elk and mule deer are just so much different than whitetail. But there's a lot of the similar. If you can figure out where a whitetail lives, you can take a lot of that to the elk woods and the mule deer woods. But actually pulling the trigger and hitting them that's the challenge. But
yeah,
it has not been hard for us. We've gone out, our group. I was out in 2017 and 2019, and we had zero issue finding animals. I mean, they're right there, but it's just a matter of everybody had shot opportunities and only one guy came away with something. But it's, I learned so much. And I think that's, to your point, like, you got to get out there and do it. And I'm sure not everything is self-taught. I mean, who are some of the key people you're learning from and listening to out there to help kind of get yourself to the next level?
So for bugling, I just kind of I use Phelps's game calls, Jason Phelps. I use his game calls, so I kind of see what his strategies. Well, after the 20, what was it? After the 27, so after my first season, I'll tell you what I did. I bought Rowe Hunting Resources. You know who Chris Rowe is?
Mm-hmm.
I paid for his just the quarterly subscription, which is like $24, right? And just to hear him like talk about elk vocalizations and how they use those vocalizations. I don't remember any of that shit when I get to the woods, but I tried to mimic it, right? And then I would definitely attribute like my success and the improvement of my calling to that. I paid for it was less than a pack of broadheads, right? That's how he markets it. So I'm like, all right, it is less than a pack of broadheads. Let me see what it's all about. And I think it was worth it because it definitely again, like kind of like pig hunting on Benning, it skyrocketed my elk hunting knowledge and in my confidence, which is a big thing out there. If you're not confident in your calling, you're probably not going to call as much. So he was a big one. And then just it's all the normal stuff you can find on YouTube and that's the only one I ever paid for though. I never did like the Elk 101 or the new Elk Hunting Academy. And I don't think I ever will, because at this point I think I've got enough figured out that I'd rather go out there and make the mistakes on my own and learn from experience versus the computer.
Right. Yeah, I think you can drown yourself in some of that stuff. I mean, I know I purchased the Elk 101, and for me it was just a matter of time. I never used it. I bought it in 2016, 2017. And I never even opened it up. It's not that I didn't want to. It's just a matter of time.
Oh yeah, and it's like taking a college class too, right? Like you got to get on there. You got to you get the kids put to bed, and you're like, all right, now do I hang out with the wife or do I? Hey, I'm doing Elk 101 over here.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
So it's definitely it's tough. That Rowe Hunting Resources one too. It's quarterly, so it's cheap. It's not as big of a financial commitment, and his stuff's pretty short. And I never really looked at the Elk 101 thing, but what I would tell people that are going to do it that already have a good bit of hunting experience, especially if it's elk specific, I would key in on the areas you're weak, right? So if you're going to pay for it and you only have limited time, but you're not really sure like what good elk habitat looks like or good elk calling sounds like, that's what I would key in on. And for me in elk hunting, I'm very similar to Corey Jacobson. I've heard him say it, like he doesn't really want to, he's not about spot and stalking them. Like I'm very much rely on I hunt them just like I do turkeys. It's not the same thing as turkey hunt. People get pissed when you say that.
It is though. It is.
I hunt them the exact same way. Locate, move in, set up, call them in, shoot them. I mean, I hunt. It's that they're two completely different animals, and it's completely different terrain. And you might locate them 2 miles away, but it's the same concept. Locate, move in, set up, call them in, shoot them. Like,
and that's the thing too. Like, I almost feel like during that period when you're out there in early September, that archery season and even the muzzleloader when we're there, it is so hard to sneak up on anything. My only experience is in Colorado, but it is so freaking dry and it's so loud that, if you get into some of that dark timber, it doesn't matter that it's dark and all pine needles. It doesn't matter. Like it's so
it's
quiet.
still crunchy.
Yeah. So you really do need to, but it's this year for us, did you have a lot of calling interaction this year with bulls? Were they communicating a lot or were they pretty quiet?
So this year we went into a completely new area this year because my local buddy, I didn't hunt with him. My local buddy, I didn't want to take guys into areas that he had shown me, right? It's the respectful thing to do.
Yeah.
So, and I had a new buddy hunting with me. So we went into a completely different area. And my buddy told me the name of a mountain. I looked at said mountain. I kind of picked some areas around said mountain that I thought looked good using Onyx. And then my buddy he went up there and scouted and hung trail cameras. And I got out there the first night. I got out there and I was like, why the fuck did I pick this spot? It is steep as shit. I'm not doing 2017 again. So I hiked down and into a valley. And I got into that valley. So I spent the night on top of the mountain. My buddy wasn't linking up with me, so I was solo. So I spent the night kind of up where I originally told him to go. Got up the next morning. I was like, all right, hunted around. It was opening day. I packed in the night before opening day, kind of walked around, climbed down some nasty shit, climbed back up. I was like, screw this, packed my camp up. And I was like, I'm going for broke. This area over here looks pretty good. I think I know a good route where I'm not going to be scaling cliffs. I bombed deeper down in. I got down there. I walked down this trail. It's a super hard trail to get to, but once you're in there, there's a trail down there. I walked down the trail, ripped a bugle, heard a bull bugle immediately. I'm like, well, I got 60 pounds because I got all my camera gear. I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm chasing that bull. It was a long hike to get in here.
Yeah.
But they're in here, right? I heard them bugle. And then I just kind of sat on the trail just to kind of let things play out, see if maybe that bull was going to come in. And then I watched a cow and a spike feed down into the meadow below me. I'm like, all right, this spot's working out. So I got on my in reach and I hit my buddy up and I told him I dropped him a pin to where I was at with my in reach. I was like, hey, come down here. And he's like, what the fuck? That's not the spot that we have been talking about. I'm like, yeah, that spot fucking sucks. We're not. He's like, well, I got trail cam. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about your trail cameras. We're hunting down here. I saw a cow and a spike and I heard a bull bugle. This is where we're at. So I got camp set up that night and we're getting on a tangent. Now I'm telling you a story, but I got camp set up that night and I heard branches breaking on the ridge above me because we camped right off the trail on the meadow. I know you're not supposed to camp on meadows, but there's literally nowhere else to fucking camp down there. So I get camp set up and I start hearing stuff break above me. And I was like, oh man, is that my buddy? Is he lost? Because we don't have cell service back there and he doesn't have an in reach. So he's just coming in dark. All I know is he's coming. Yep. So I rip a bugle because I'm like, hell, if that's him, hopefully he comes to me. And I don't know how big the bull was, but he bombed straight into camp. Like I turned my headlamp on and looked him in the eyes 5 feet away from me in camp, like, because I heard him crashing down. I'm like, that ain't my buddy. And he's bombing down the hill. I'm like, all right, fuck. I wish I wouldn't have called this bull into our camp because now he knows we're here.
Now he knows, yeah.
But he kept coming. So I'm like, all right, I got to turn my headlamp on because he's going to run my shit over. So I pop my headlamp on. And he stops and stares at me from like 5 feet away and blows out. I'm like, God dang it. Didn't want to have to do that. But my buddy was way far. He didn't come back. He didn't make it to me for hours. He got to me and he was like, what the fuck? He was pissed because I went deep. I was about 2 additional miles from where we were at, and you had to break brush to get there. So,
no. Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't remember what the question was. What was the question?
Well, I was just curious if they were talking a lot last year.
Oh
you guys
yeah.
were out there.
Oh yeah. They were talking. So in that spot, then we found this hill. There's a certain spot at 10,000 feet where we got cell service. So it was nice to go up there and connect with the real world. But at the same time, it looked into a different, we basically climbed up a saddle and then climbed up to 10,000 feet. And then we were looking in a completely different drainage and valley. And we would get up there early in the morning, right as the sun was rising, and we'd rip bugles and we'd get elk to respond every single morning. And then we would try to drop down in on them and either the wind would shift or something would happen and we'd blow them out. It happened damn near every single morning out there. So we stayed back there for, I think, 5 or 6 days and then packed out, went and tried some other areas, but those areas were completely full, like just jam-packed full of hunters. We called in this group. This is why you don't tell people where you're hunting. I felt bad for a kid after my 2017 season, so I told him where I got into elk at. He went up there, and that kid's been going back up there and setting up a freaking camp with all his buddies after I was like, hey man, like I should have known better, but I felt bad for him and he seemed like he was a soldier in my unit.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, go back up there, you'll get into elk. Like, don't tell anybody about it. And so every year since, he has been up there with like 8 people with tents set up. Like,
Yeah.
I do not like him anymore,
Yeah.
needless to say. But we called him, I'm 99.9% sure it was him and his crew. And they were idiots. They were downwind of us. And they are just laying on the calls trying to call me in. So,
Yeah.
so
It's
then,
one of my biggest fears is like I think we found a pretty good overlooked spot that 3 years in a row has produced really good activity. And, there's a handful of people that around us that know about it. And, it's public land. It's, so like there's that kind of challenge because you want to tell people and have them have success. But it's like, if I tell one person and then that one person tells their one buddy and then their one buddy tells, and it just like keeps going.
yeah,
Next thing you know, that area is just overwhelmed, and that's how areas get blown up. So it's like,
yep.
you have to, I don't mind telling people because I feel like I can tell fairly well whether somebody's going to be one of those guys who is going to spread the
POS.
word or is going to be like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. That's interesting that's a good spot, but I'm not going to go hunt it because it's yours,
Yeah.
And we had that experience with a couple locals that actually, the muleys that we got in 2017, they basically put us on them, and we want to go back there, but that's their spot. They told us where to go because they were packing an animal out and they didn't have deer tags, but it's just like common courtesy. Like, we're hunting a different unit now, not far from there, but we're hunting a different unit because we don't want to take advantage of that
spot.
Yeah.
That's
So, like,
that's the right way to do it, I think. I mean, I think there's still got to be some ethics, and that says a lot about your character, right? Like, yeah, it's public land. Like, I can tell you about the spot, and then you can show up there every year with your buddies. Just though you're a piece of shit, and to my knowledge, none of those guys have killed an elk yet. So,
well, in that area is if you have 8 guys going in there, there's not a lot of areas in Colorado that aren't touched, even some of the deepest backcountry areas.
yeah, I mean, we were back in there, and so this is why I like going early, because for the first week, you're generally alone because everyone thinks, oh, the rut, October, got to be there late September. But I really feel like for me personally, and the way I hunt, I feel like I have a better opportunity. I would much rather call elk that haven't been called to a whole bunch already than show up after muzzleloader or during muzzleloader and then have to worry about those weirdos shooting you. But I'd much rather, but I want to be if I had a muzzleloader tag, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, right. When you're a bow guy, muzzleloader guys are bad, but when you got a muzzleloader.
Yeah, and I don't think they're bad, but every year so I try to plan my hunts. So I'm like, the first week is your moneymaker. Second week, people are starting to show up. Week after that, muzzleloader starts, and then all hell breaks loose, right? But I feel like the first week, the animals are untouched. They're still susceptible to calling, right? The bachelor herds are breaking up. They're sizing each other up. They might not be gathering cows, but they're still susceptible to calling. You just got to they're just like turkeys, man. You've got to take their temperature. If he's hot, lay it on him. Let him know you want to fight. If he's not hot, start moving closer and try to entice him with some cow calls, because he's probably just starting to collect his harem, right? So I don't know. I feel like going early is a little bit easier because the later in the season it gets. So we were way back there, and you've seen me post about old Stick Bow Greg, right?
Oh yeah, I love Stick Bow Greg. Did he get his sweaty backpack yet?
He got a sweaty frame. I sent him a frame with sweat still on it. But that's how I met him. We were backpacked in, me and my buddy, way back in this area, and he's hiking up the trail with a trad bow, and I'm like, holy shit, who is this dude? He's probably a local. He gets up to us, and I'm like, hey man, where'd you come in from? Like, do you hunt this area? He's like, it's my first fucking time elk hunting. I'm like, it's your first time elk hunting, and you're this far back here by yourself? And he's like, yeah, man. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So
that's awesome, yeah.
And now we're butt buddies. And then same thing. One day we all split up, and I'm out ripping bugles, moving down a ridge because me, Stickbow Greg, and my buddy had split up and decided to hunt different parts of the area we backpacked into. And I'm ripping bugles, and then this dude in Sitka gear runs up on me, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, let's go talk to him, see where he came in from, because we'd been completely alone for about 4 or 5 days where not a soul was out there. We were the only people out there. I'm like, hey man, where'd you come in from? And he's like, bro, I thought you were a fucking elk.
Oh,
He's like, I'm a fucking guide, and I thought you were an elk. And I'm like, well, that's good. He's like, can I record you bugling? Because I got to show these guys this shit. But he ended up being a super cool dude, and we talked, and I kind of let him know kind of where the elk were out there, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna stay out of there though, because he had a deal. There's an outfitter that works that same drainage just from the opposite end. He's got horses and all kinds of stuff. You can see his camp on Onyx, but you can actually see all his wall tents set up down way down the valley. Yeah, but he's like, yeah, I made a deal with that outfitter to pack me out. So if I kill a bull over here where you guys are at, he's definitely not packing me out because it's the one place he told me to stay away from. Like, oh, it's the one place with fucking hell, dude.
exactly.
But yeah, so and then the later the season goes, man, it's a shit show. Every pull off's got a camper in it. There's just people everywhere.
Because I was curious if they were talking with you, because when we were out there, and that was my first year actually calling, and there was almost no calling. I mean, they would call bugle a couple times a day, and that was it. You know, we were trying to bugle, we were calling, we were seeing them, but they just were not vocal. So it's hard, you know, you're out here in the East, you have nothing to practice on. You know, I could drive down to PA and practice down there, but that's, you know, it's a great, wonderful idea, but just having the time to do it's not good. Yeah. So every 2 years, in my case, I go out there, and it's like, you can drive around in your truck and practice all you want, but until you actually try to use that stuff on a real live animal, you know, if they're not talking, they're not talking, and it kind of like stops in your tracks, because everything you thought was going to happen isn't happening. So, you know, I think we learned a lot. I think in the situation we were in last year, I would have probably been a little bit more aggressive from what we were, because they weren't leaving that basin. They were in there, but we were just being so gentle with them and watching them go in there. We're like, well, we'll call, but then they didn't talk. And, you know, so we should have, hindsight's 2020, you know, we should have been more aggressive. But that's is what it is, you know?
Yeah. They were talking good. I mean, so here's the thing. If you can get them to talk like once or twice, then I think you can kind of get in on them and get them dead, especially if you know where they're going. You got a good idea where they're going and like bedding up or hanging out, and they're fairly, like, you guys are the only one, they're unmolested, and you guys are the only ones messing with them.
Yeah.
I'd definitely try to sneak in there and then get aggressive.
Yeah.
But were you guys looking at a bunch of bulls, or bulls with cows, or
bulls with cows? It was not a lot of bulls in there.
Oh yeah. You should have freaking
I know.
got in there, screamed right in their face.
Yeah, and that's a confidence thing, you know, and I'll tell you one thing too. We had both tags this year, and I don't think I'll do that again, because you're running around with a chicken with your head cut off, and you know, in the morning you're seeing the deer, and you're like, holy shit, they're deer, and then 20 minutes later you see elk, and you're like, well, am I hunting deer? Am I hunting elk? And you know, it was a riot. It was an awesome experience, and I can't say I'll never do it again, but I think moving forward in the next couple of trips out there, it's going to be focusing on one or the other, because it's just,
you have to.
Yeah. And everybody's sitting on $1,200 worth of tags in their pockets. And, you know, we shot a bull on the first day, and, you know, everybody was completely shot from a 7-mile pack out. And everybody's like, well, if we shoot one more elk, our hunt's pretty much over, because we're going to have to pack that thing out of here and everything else. So it just, then everybody, you just start, it's like a mind game. And when you've got a group of guys, that's where it's different. Like, you know, you've gone with a single, or, you know, with just a couple other people. And, you know, when you have a camp of multiple guys, you know, 4 or 5 guys, it's other people's hunt too. So that definitely adds another dynamic to it. And, you know, with us, like we have a great group of guys, and we hunt really well together. We all get along in camp, and, you know, after 5-6 days, you can get on each other's nerves for sure. But, you know, it's I think doing 2 tags was a bit much last year. Just
Yeah,
reflecting on that.
and I can't say I've done the same thing, but the 2018 season, my buddy Josh that killed that big muley, so I'd killed it. He was with me and helped me pack my bull out in 2017. So I already was like, all right, I'm not going to be selfish. Like, Josh, you're killing an elk first this year. And he went off and hunted by himself. I went and hunted by myself, and he ended up smacking that monster mule deer. And I'm like, well, I'm killing an elk now because you just killed a freaking great deer in velvet. Like, I'm killing an elk
My
now.
turn. Yeah.
You can kill one next. But it's tough hunting with a big group or a bigger, even a group of 3 guys. Like, I'm going with 3, maybe 4 if my buddy Josh comes. So I'm going with 2 guys with stick bows, and it's still tough hunting with a group because everyone wants to kill an animal, right? Because everyone's got those tags in their pocket. Everyone made this huge financial commitment and physical commitment to driving out and getting in shape. So it is hard. Like, if I was man enough to solo hunt, I would probably be more of a solo hunter, but I'm not super, I don't know. It's fucking weird out there by yourself.
Yeah.
Spent
I see a lot of these guys that are, big into going solo. Like we've got a guy local here, Jesse Coots. Like he's all about going solo on his own. Like Clint Casper, he talks a lot about going by himself. Like those are a couple of guys I follow that they have a lot of success, and I have a ton of respect for that, because sitting here, it's like oh yeah, I could do that, but you get 7 miles back up in there, you've never seen darkness, you've never heard quiet. It's like, that's a lot. That's tough to be by yourself. And I love being in a camp. I'm a very social person. Like I like talking, I like communicating. So for me, like I love that portion of it, but it's tough when you have multiple people and, like you said, everybody's got tags. Like that's a whole nother dynamic. And this guy wants to hunt over here, but this guy wants to hunt over here. And
yeah,
it's tough.
no, it's definitely, it's a different world being out there by yourself, like completely different. Like you just feel way more at ease when there's another body out there with you. You're just a little bit more at ease. You sleep a little bit better. But yeah, I would probably hunt solo more, and I'll probably do some solo trips when I get back out there. But I'm the same way. I'm a people person, so I'd much rather have people with me. But like we got it planned out this year. I'm taking a compound. These 2 guys are going with stick bows. So I'm a little bit this year. I'm more concerned with. I would love to see one of those dudes kill a bull with a stick, and I'm starting to get into the film and photography thing. So I'm a little bit more concerned with telling a good story, more so than, or being able to put a decent film together more so than Mike kills a bull, because Mike's killed a couple bulls now. Mike's going to live in Colorado. Mike's going to get to kill more bulls. As long as somebody kills a bull, I'll be happy.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to take a piss real quick. You want to chat a little bit about some other stuff when we get back?
Yeah, when we get back, you'll have to edit this part out.
I beat you.
You did. You're fast.
I've been known to be a pretty quick pisser.
I'm usually quick. I had to get some more ice for my beverage.
Nice. What are you drinking over there?
A little Tito's and soda water.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I was getting worried. I was like, I think he's just drinking water over there.
No, I'm trying to be good with the beer, man. So I fucked my foot up in Addison.
Yeah, I wanted to know that the picture you posted today was a little ambiguous. I was wondering what the hell that was that you posted.
Yeah, it was my foot. It's the bottom of it. And I almost ripped my pinky toe off on the left side. It's real bad. That's a little too graphic for the gram.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So we were kayaking Sunday right after it rained. I don't know if it rained where you were at.
Oh, yeah, it poured, yeah.
The Cohocton got up there, and I got stuck in a tree and might have been drunk and dumped it and just bashed my feet like on some big rocks.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
No, well, I was drunk enough. It felt fine at the time. But now, like I'm just now being able to put weight on my right foot. So I haven't been terrible time to do this stuff, right? Because it's right before season. I just started my training. I was a week into my training plan pre-elk season. And here I am. I'm taking this week off. And I hope by the weekend I'll be a little bit better. But like that pinky toe is messed up. The pinky, and that's not even painful. I can put all my weight on my left foot. but I'm just super worried about infection because it's deep. Like
Wow.
I went to the urgent care. I mean, it was a day late and a dollar short. I went there Wednesday night. Yeah, I went there Wednesday night, right? I did this on Sunday.
Back home in Kentucky or
no, I did it in Addison.
no? I know that, but did you go to urgent care in Kentucky or
No, yeah. This was Wednesday. This 2 days
Right,
ago, I went to
right.
urgent care because I was cleaning it and I was like, I don't know, it looks kind of pussy. So I was like, fuck it, I better go to the urgent care. So I went to the urgent care and the doctor got in there and she spread my toes and she was like the face she made. I was like, Jesus, late. She's like, what the fuck did you do? And I'm like, yeah, I know it's pretty bad. And then I was like, wait till you see the bruise on the bottom of the eye. I showed her and she's like, Jesus Christ. She's like, I don't know how your pinky toe is still attached. And I was like, it still works. Look,
It's
it
like
wiggles.
the webbing between? Is that what?
Oh yeah, I'll send you a
Oh,
picture.
Yeah, I'd love
You got
to.
you got your phone right there. I'm
Sure
gonna send you a
do.
picture so you can so I can see your face when you look at it. It's bad. Not good.
Jesus,
Hang on, it's loading. There it is.
that's what happens when you drink on the.
On the Cohocton.
Yeah. Whereabouts did you drop in on? I've never.
So we launched just if you drive just past the bus station there. Yeah, you looking at it?
Oh God, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, the cut or your toes. You got fucking like Smurf toes. What the hell?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But look, oh my God. Zoom in on that sucker. Just look at it.
Jesus, dude.
That's meat.
That's
like
meat, man.
down to the bone meat. Yeah.
Ow, ow.
Yeah.
There's like tendons there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
Did it bleed a lot?
You know, I was in the river for another 2 hours. So
Oh
and by the time I got home, I was drunk enough that my wife was able to dump peroxide on there and clean the shit out of it without me really feeling a whole lot of it. So, thank God I was, dude, because I know how bad peroxide on something like that would have felt, and I do not know how bad it felt because I was pretty drunk.
You were feeling it pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah. So that was super bad timing on that whole deal, and then, but where we launched from is you go down the road from the bus where the bus garage is, right?
Yeah.
And you go around by the baseball fields, and there's a little pull off right there. We launched from there, and we pulled out at the Mulholland Bridge.
Okay. So does it Cohocton flows north, right?
It flows to Corning, and then it flows into what's that big river that runs through Corning? That river runs from Bath to Corning.
Susquehanna, right? Or that's not the Susquehanna.
Susquehanna runs down into PA. Chemung, I think it's the Chemung.
Chemung River, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah.
Damn, dude, that's not good. That's not good at all.
No, pretty bad. But so the left foot, although probably far worse injured, is not painful. Like I'm wiggling my toes right now. It doesn't hurt. I'm just worried about it getting infected. So that's the only reason I went to urgent care, and they gave me they hooked me up with some good meds to put on it. And then she's like, actually, she's like, you've been doing a good job of taking care of it. She's like, I might have went and got stitches. And I was like, I didn't think you guys would stitch it up being on a joint like that. Like, they're not even going to hold, are they? She's like, hard to tell. And I was like, well, whatever. It's too late now. But I was like, she's like, I don't think you need these antibiotics. And I was like, well, actually, I go elk hunting every year, and there is a chance I could drink bad water. So if you could give me some Bactrim, is the antibiotic I take to Colorado with me, because it's real good for killing bacteria, like bacterial infections in the skin, and then Giardia is a bacterial infection in your stomach, right? So I was like, could I get some of that anyways? She's like, well, I don't think you really need it. I'm like, yeah, but it'd be nice to have. And she's like, all right. She's like, here you go. If you don't take these, if you don't finish them all and you take some with you to Colorado, I won't tell anybody. I'm like, yes, good doctor.
But you just told 4 people on the Pert Near Outdoors podcast.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say her name or what urgent care she's at. So there's a lot of urgent cares in Kentucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, well, she prescribed them for my foot, right? So I'm just not going to take them, and unless it starts to get infected. But I think I'm out of the woods as far. Well, knock on wood.
Is that cut healing at all? I mean, is it sealing up or?
I don't know, man. It still looks about the same when I spread it open. It's just a little bit. It's
That's
like a
almost
meat
one of them
sample.
that'll probably heal from the inside out.
It's gonna have to.
Yeah, it's
It's
never
so
gonna.
it's so deep, dude. It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
But the other foot's the bad one. Like it's bruised. The entire bottom of my foot's bruised. It's bruised on the side of my foot, and then that cut on the bottom of that is like a paper cut, basically. It's not anything terrible, but motherfucker, does it hurt?
Just in a bad spot.
Yeah, terrible spot. My feet. I need my feet.
Yeah, that's no good.
So hopefully I'll be getting back after it soon. Hopefully I'll be in fighting shape. I'm hoping by not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm hoping to be like throwing the pack on.
Yeah.
Back in full go mode.
So for you, I mean, your training, a lot of that just happens right there in your garage, it looks like. I mean, you probably get out and walk a little bit, but it's pretty flat where you are.
Yeah, there are some hills. It's not, the hills here aren't as big as Addison or in upstate New York, but yeah, a lot of it's in the garage. And then so I will do step ups 2 times a week, and then I will ruck 2 times a week and run once. So Monday is usually step up intervals. So 90, I'll set a repeating timer for 90 seconds. And that first set of step ups, I don't know if the one where I was talking shit to Jake Downs, where I did 470 in 30 minutes. That's my base. Like that's my base step ups, 470. So I'll divide that up, and I'll do probably 20 to 25 step up, 20 to 26 step up. So it's even, right? Both legs. I'll set a clock for 90 seconds to go 20 times. So it'll ding every 90 seconds. I'll knock out 25 step ups, get to rest the rest of that time. As soon as the bell dings, knock out 25, rest for 20 sets of that. And then Thursdays that's my volume step up day. So Thursdays will be 600, 700. It'll be a large number, just grinding out the step ups. And then Wednesday's a heavy ruck with a 70 to 75 pound pack, starts at 3 miles, and I'll end up doing like 8. I'm not doing it for speed. I'm just doing it to get used to sucking the proverbial dick. And then Wednesday is my running day. And then Friday is another heavy ruck day.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things for people to do is to try to, especially after that trip last year with how long that pack out was with the elk. You know, it took us about 5 hours with, I don't know how much we had. I'm not going to over exaggerate. We all had 60 plus pounds on our backs, and it was probably a little bit more. But you know, that's 5 hours on your feet with that much weight on your back.
Yeah.
And I swear that's probably one of the best things you could do to prepare to go out west is just put weight in your pack and carry it for a while, you know, like, cause you just can't simulate that.
And you don't have to do absurd amounts of weight, or you shouldn't do absurd amounts of weight like those. So even though Tuesday I'll religiously, it'll be 70 to 75 pounds. But if my body's feeling beat up after, doing a full week, that Friday is supposed to be another 70 to 75 pounds. If my body's feeling beat up, I'll drop it down to 50, 60 pounds and then go. Like, you kind of got to listen to your body. But you have to get your body used to doing it. I went in last year, I had a 60-pound pack going in, and this year it's probably going to be pretty damn similar because of all the camera shit I'm taking with me. So you got to get your body used to doing it. You got to get used to the suck. And luckily for me, I'm an infantryman. So that's what the government, that's what your taxpayer dollars pay me to do, is walk around with heavy shit on my back everywhere. So
for you, because you're not a big guy, and you probably were carrying, when you're all loaded up with your whole kit, like you had to be carrying all that, right? Or more.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were definitely, when we're kitted out, so 8 pounds, because a full 5.56, so a full 30 rounds of 5.56 is about 8 pounds, or a full 30 round mag, and I carry 8. So that's 8 pounds right there. And then you add, various other accoutrement, if you will, hand grenades, flares, shit like that, radio, water, your body armor, soft, and your ballistic armor. I mean, and then if you're like elk hunting or backpack hunting is the same thing as going on like a freaking deep foot patrol where you're going to stay out overnight and do patrol base operations, right? So it's worse because we're carrying all our food and water. Like elk hunting, this is what I carry. I carry an Nalgene bottle and a steri pin. I'm not packing 5 liters of water somewhere.
Right.
And our MREs in the Army are not dehydrated, so
Heavy.
it's all high. That shit's fucking heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's your body gets used to it, but it's definitely good for someone that's not used to it to get your body used to it. So you don't want the first time you feel the suck to be when you're out there hunting or you're packing in, or I mean, if you're packing out and you're done, I guess that could be the first time you feel the suck. But I know that's being out there in the elk woods is not the first time to feel the suck.
No.
So,
No. I'd be curious for you too. Like, so when you go in like this and you're saying you're carrying 60 pounds, how many days are you figuring to be going in there for?
so the 60-pound pack, we were going in for 8 days. Well, we weren't going in for 8 days. We were going in for 5, but I'll bring like 3 extra days because we're packing that far in. If the area is good, right, then I know we're gonna want to stay, and I'm not gonna want to leave. I'm not gonna want to do the 4 or 5 mile hike it back out to get food.
Yeah.
But that's where the bulk of the weight is food. We don't carry a bunch of water, but then I've got my camera, spare batteries, a big ass charger. Most of my stuff's lightweight. If I didn't have the camera, I'd probably cut close to probably 10 pounds of shit out of my pack because I don't have the tripod in here. That thing's a fucking cheap, heavy piece of shit. But I'm not spending $400 or $500 on a tripod yet. I can't do it.
No. So I'm in the same boat, and I've 2 trips in a row. I've lugged a spotting scope with me, and guess how many times I've used that?
Fucking zero. Yeah.
Don't do it, people. Don't be that guy.
Not if you're elk hunting timber. Like, yeah. I barely use my binos.
And I mean, with deer, I did spot a little bit with deer this past trip, but it's like when it comes down to it, you just need to know if that thing has horns or not. That's where I'm at. I'm not trying to shoot some class of a deer.
Yeah.
I want to know, is it a legal buck, and I'm going to go after it. So you can tell that with binoculars.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that's 8-9 pounds right there, and that's just wasted weight.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to ask you? So food wise, I'm just curious, what your food regimen is. You're not a real big guy, but you're still burning a lot of calories. I'm just curious what your.
So I had some stuff on Instagram last year. I'm just starting to I actually just ordered a bunch of bars last night. I'm starting to all right, I got to get my shit together for food. But food wise, big fan of the Peak refuels. I think they're the best tasting out of the readily available ones, right? Like, I haven't tried Heather's Choice, and I haven't tried Off Grid Food Company. The only reason I haven't tried Off Grid is because they're made in small batches. It's not readily available. I'm like, I know I can get Peak refuel pretty much unless COVID-19 hits. So
yeah, right.
But that's what I take for a main meal, and I'll have one main meal per day, and then I try to get the calorie count around 3,000 calories a day. I'm not a super health nut kind of guy when I'm out there. It's kind of my time to eat a little bit shittier, and I know people that know way more than me about nutrition and stuff will say that it's probably not the best idea, but I try to get to those. I try to be semi-smart. Like, the bars that I take are organic, and they're made with whole foods, so they're not like a bunch of processed stuff. But then the little the crackers and peanut butter packs, or the cracker. I'm not a huge peanut butter eater. I take peanut butter packets with me, the Justin's, just because so much calories for the weight. But I take those little cheese cracker packs. That's 200 calories for like 1.3 ounces.
Yeah.
I try to keep everything like to the standard 100 calories an ounce is the weight I try to stick to. But I'm probably not the best person to talk about food because I am super bad about eating when I'm out there. I immediately I ordered these bars, right? And my wife bitches at me every single year. I will get sick of those bars like day 2. Won't
Really?
want to. Yep. I'm more of a savory guy than a sweet guy. So, and it's hard to pack savory weight like
It's
other
heavy.
than those
Yeah.
cheese and crackers. But one big thing, like I really like the Sweetwood Smokehouse. They make these little fatty meat sticks. I love those motherfuckers, dude. I could live off those things.
Yeah.
But so those always go in, and those are like, so the first 2 things that get eaten out of my pack, like to give you an idea of what I am hungry for. The first things that get eaten, like when we're on the top of a ridge glassing, are those meat sticks and the cheese and crackers. Like the bars and the peanut butter, I'm forcing myself to eat that because I know I need like some decent shit in my body and I need the calories. But yeah, so I try to stay around 3,000. I don't have it all worked out yet. I haven't started buying everything, and then I pack everything into individual Ziplocs too.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a waste for the hippies out there. I know I'm
Yeah,
definitely.
but you can put all your garbage back in them when you're done each day.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
can.
not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I try to keep them all in one bag, and we'll try to keep hang the shit away from camp. Um, but still gonna end up fucking suffocating a sea turtle or a dolphin. It's convenient,
It
and
is convenient.
I'm American, and I
Yeah.
love convenience. So I'll pack them all in those 1-gallon Ziplocs, so that way I got each day's food, and then I'll take those Ziplocs and I'll put a food bag with them. One year I tried to cut those because those meals say 2 a day. I tried to cut them in half. That was stupid. I ate the whole thing both days anyway. So
yeah, I think a lot of people, like my first trip out, we were all packing breakfast, like Mountain House breakfasts and stuff like that. And I had some Heather's Choice breakfast, and just you never eat a breakfast. That was my experience. Is just like you wake up in the morning and you're just getting all your shit together and you're trying to get out of camp as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And you're usually not eating anything. You're getting to your spot to glass and to start your day. Then you might sit down and have a cup of coffee or something. But I it's funny. I do exactly the same thing you do, and it's probably because we listen to a lot of the same people. I think it's a great practice for people to figure out, how much calories you need, and a lot of that depends on how much you eat on a day-to-day basis, and then kind of figure out, what you're going to need. Because for me, I was around 3,000 last year too, and I did the same thing. I packaged it out to each individual day, and you gotta make it fun. You gotta have meals that you're gonna want to eat for 5-6+ days if you're gonna be in there that long. You can't just have just the boring old ramen noodles. Some people can,
I
but
love ramen.
but like I do too. But I don't know if I want to eat that 5-6 days in a row. So mix it up. And so my rule of thumb is like 2 pounds. 2 pounds of, that's what I had heard somebody with that. It's like 2 pounds of food a day. And my stuff added up to about that, and it was 3,000 calories. And it was interesting because my plan was completely opposite of all the other 4 guys in our camp, and I felt out of the 5 of us, I felt the best at the end of the trip as far as energy wise and everything else. Like I felt really good because I was eating so much throughout the entire trip, where everybody else was trying to run on 1,500 to 2,000 calories because they were trying to cut weight. And I'm just not I'm not a big believer in that,
Well, and so, but if that's your only trip for the year, then if you want to, and that's your only trip for the year, then why not? But if you're going to do multiple trips, then you definitely, like, when I retire and I have the time, I'll retire from the military and I have the time to do more than one big trip a year, I will definitely start probably paying a little bit, and I'll be older. So I'll start paying a little bit more attention to nutrition and putting good stuff in my body. But right now but I try to meet that 3,000 calorie mark, but probably day 2 or 3, I'm like, I don't feel like eating this fucking bar, so I don't eat it. And then and then it all kind of goes by the wayside. And then at that point, I'm kind of just filling. I have bags of partially eaten food, right? So I can put the stuff that I still like, and I still keep my calorie count up pretty good.
Yeah.
And then when we come out too, Come and Go Pizza, man. Come and Go Pizza is the best pizza.
It is.
I'm a New Yorker, but I love that fucking pizza, dude.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We're a sucker for finding the nearest burger joint and just getting a fatty burger, and then you feel like freaking shit afterwards, and nobody wants to do anything. That's what happened to us last year when we packed that bowl out. We went into town and grabbed dinner, and it was just like our bodies just shut down. We were just like, man, we're so shot. We're not going back up in there tonight.
Just sleep at the trucks.
Yeah. Got a hotel room and took a shower and got back after it the next morning. But so you we're running on a couple hours almost now.
Are we?
Could sit here and shoot the shit with you for days, but so camera stuff is something that I've listened to a couple podcasts and been following along with you. You're getting into the photography side of things, and seems to be quite a passion of yours. You talked about putting together a little bit of a film and having that be a focus for you. So I guess kind of wrapping out our conversation right now, I guess what's that look like for you and what you're getting into with that?
So I started writing for Black Rifle Coffee Company. And I learned very quickly that it was much easier to sell an article if I had supporting photos that I owned that were mine. So the editors don't have to outsource photography or pay for photography. It all kind of a package deal, right? So that was kind of my initial push to get a camera. I'm like, all right, well, I've got a few articles published. Let me get a camera because I'm doing stuff. The stuff I'm doing, I can take my own pictures. Like we're in awesome places. Like I can do my own photography. I just got to get a camera and learn it. And then kind of the other side of that too is I'd like to work in the outdoor industry when I get out of the Army. But there's very few people in the world that are going to make a living being Michael Waddell, right? Like there's only one Michael Waddell. There's only, one friggin' Corey Jacobson. There's only one name a hunting celebrity.
Yeah.
Like you're just not gonna, it's a far cry to be able to break into that, right? I thought about starting a podcast, but there's so many podcasts, and I don't even want to know the amount of time you dedicate to, sitting down and listening to dummies like me talk and then editing it and getting it published. So, that's where when I kind of started leaning towards film, like, well, let's see if I can edit some video. And I never really took myself for a creative person. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago if I was going to get a camera, I would have told you were smoking dope.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I got the camera and started getting into the weeds with it, just like anything else. And I'm like, all right, well, now I know how to take a semi-decent, all right photo. Why not? And I like storytelling. That's the whole reason I got into writing. So I was like, I like storytelling, so why not try storytelling without having to do the writing, right? Like just make a film. So that's kind of how I got into it. And I'm super amateur and novice, but I'm figuring it out. I took it out there last year with the intent to make a film and had no clue how to use the camera, no clue what like establishing shots or wide, medium, tights are. I didn't know anything about the types of shots. I didn't know anything about storytelling through film or video. So last year was just a bunch of bullshit footage. I had some funny shit of Stickbo Greg talking. Like the best I got. So this year I'm way more comfortable with the camera. I have a pretty good idea of the shots that I need to get every day. So I feel like I can do a better job producing my buddy John and my buddy Cody. His name's actually Cody. He's not Stickbo Greg, but my buddy Brian called him Greg, and I was like, Stickbo Greg.
His name's not even Greg?
No. No, it's
that's
Cody.
fantastic.
It's
That's
Cody.
even better.
But he's Stickbow Greg, dude. Well, we just got done climbing this mountain. My buddy Brian's like, "Hey, you, what's your fucking name?" And he's my buddy Brian's an old retired ranger, and he's like, "Hey, you, what's your fucking name, Greg?" And I'm like, "Oh man, his name's Cody, but it's fucking Stickbow Greg now." So yeah,
Yeah, Stickbow Cody doesn't have the ring to it.
no. Yeah,
Oh, that's
man,
fantastic.
I can't remember his dad's name, but his dad's name's Clay.
Okay.
So we were all zooming one night, me, John, and Cody, and his dad. Cody was drinking with his dad, and his dad's like, "Hey, I'm Lever Action Clay."
Oh,
And I'm
my.
like, "Nice." So we got Lever Action Clay, we got Stickbow Greg, and we got I don't have a name for me. They got all kinds of names for me.
Yeah, you're the leg.
Something about fucking Bigfoot. 'Cause
Mike the leg. Yeah.
big swollen foot. No, I'm not a fucking leg. No, I am now. I was a paratrooper once in my life. But yeah, so that's where the film and photography thing kind of came in. Um, I'm trying to make myself marketable for life after the military and I'm going to school and shit too, but that's insufferable and I don't know how long I'll keep it up.
What are
But
you going to school for?
I don't, general studies, associate's
Yeah.
degree in
Are you a liberal arts major, are you?
I guess. I got
Yeah.
2 classes left, and they're both math classes, and I fucking hate math. So I haven't taken them yet. I should have an associate's right now, but
Yeah.
I just won't take those classes because I'm afraid of them, and I don't like math. But so I'm just trying to make myself marketable towards the outdoor industry when the time comes for me to get out of the Army, and I'll leave the Army with a little bit of a paycheck too. So because after 20 years of service, we get half our base pay, and then we get a little bit of extra pay if our knees and ankles and stuff are jacked up. So I'll leave the Army with a little bit of money every month coming in already, and then I'd like to be able to. My wife and we don't want to be rich, but I wanna maintain my current lifestyle and do a job I want to do. So
Yeah.
hopefully, film photography. I don't necessarily want to be a Michael Waddell, but hopefully through film photography and then kind of using my Instagram platform. I'm not using Instagram to kind of get followers. A lot of people like start an Instagram and they want to be Insta famous. I'm not really using it for that. I'm using it more to market myself to people in the industry, right? So
Yeah.
people see what I'm doing, they see kind of who I am, what I'm about, and hopefully that'll help make me marketable for a career in the future somewhere in the industry. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah, I think that's
How it all started.
smart. That's smart that you're doing that. And I mean, right now there's just I don't know, I think I probably know how you feel about this, but there's just a lot, and I've become more aware recently listening to different podcasts and like guys like Make Hunting Great Again. Just listened to his podcast today with the guys from Working Class Bow Hunter, and it's like what I see going on in the industry now that I'm paying more attention to it, having a podcast and seeing what's going on. I really hope that more people become aware of kind of some of the I see it as disgusting, people just kind of like basically whoring themselves out to stuff to
Yeah,
get to whether it is to get free product or get things. And it's like, what are you really in this for? Are you just doing it for attention, or are you doing this because it's your passion? You're trying to either help grow the sport or get more people into it or help conservation. Like, what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, and I agree 100%. I'll be 100% honest. When I first started getting into hunting, I just didn't know any better, right? So I was like, oh man, like let me get some free shit. I want some free hunting stuff. And then as I matured and kind of started I started talking to guys like Aaron Snyder and guys that are actually in the industry. I'm like, all right, so good examples, friggin' John Mulligan, right? I went to a photography class with him, and all I know of him is what I see on social media. So I'm like, what? Like, who is this guy? Why is he an influencer? What's he do? Well, doing a photography class with him, the guy's been in the industry for a long time, and though he is kind of a micro influencer, right? His main business is he sells himself as a photographer. That's companies pick him up because they know they can send him products, and he is going to send good photos of those products in use, right? Which is why he gets free stuff. He doesn't get free stuff because he kills 150 inch. I don't know how big the deer he kills every year are, but he doesn't get free stuff because of the deer he kills every year. He's not the Drurys get free shit because of the deer they kill every year.
Right.
Guys like John's getting free stuff because he's a talented photographer and he will get them the shots they need for marketing and catalogs and social media, stuff like that. So that's kind of, as I'm starting to mature and like get a little deeper into the industry, that's the kind of things that I'm learning. And I really like the whole Instagram thing. I was like, well, I got to have a bunch of, when I initially started like kind of trying to bolster my Instagram following, if you will, I was like, man, I got to have all these followers or companies won't look at me. No, it's not the case. I have to have the right people following me, right? Like that's what I need. I don't need 5 million followers. I need the Aaron Snyders of the industry and the marketing guy at Hoyt and these people following me, and they're like, hey, that dude seems like he's a pretty legit dude. He's only got 12 followers, but goddamn, is he killing elk on public land every year? And he's taking banger photos. Like, that's what I need.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the industry is a little out of control, especially with the old Insta-tots.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm glad that there's people out there kind of holding others accountable for it, and hopefully people start to become aware. And it's just, I don't know. I think the more I started hearing it and seeing it, and then when I was really getting more into the podcast and realizing what was going on within this stuff, it's like, God, it's like, aren't we all trying to do this stuff for the right reasons? But there's a lot of people that are doing it for selfish reasons. And you know what?
Yeah.
But I said here, you do you. People do what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here to judge, but you know, there's a lot of people that do a lot of things to put up a front, and when you realize that who they are behind their facade that they've built, it's frustrating to see that. So
yeah, but on the same token, right? Like, I think Make Hunting Great Again is hilarious. But what did he built his entire following is based on shitting on people. So like, I mean, how much good are you doing? Like, and then that's the other thing. Who's listening to you, right? You're shitting on Sitka. So if one of their athletes is really doing one of their sponsored hunters, I don't know what the fuck to call them. If one of their endorsed individuals is doing some shitty stuff, Sick's probably not going to listen to you because you've made it very clear you don't like their camo pattern. Like, and you're like, is that really, like, I think it's funny and I wear Sitka, but but I don't know if he's doing more harm or more good. I mean, I haven't seen anything substantial. It is fun to see guys call stuff out. I'll tell you who I really like is Hunt Domain.
I loved your discussion with him.
Did you listen to that?
God. You guys were lighting it up a little bit.
We got hammered. I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, I was drunk when we started it. I pregame for that one. I think that was a Saturday night. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a Saturday. So
yeah. And I think that's what, I'm glad you said that, but you know, like guys like him with that platform on Instagram and getting out there and trying to hold people accountable, it's like everything in this culture, in this world that we're in right now. I think you have to listen to this stuff with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But you have to look into this stuff a little bit deeper. And, you know, I think it was probably around like March-ish, April, maybe February, when Snyder had him on Kafaru Cast, and they got into talking about a bunch of stuff, and they got into different nonprofits. And then Snyder did that series talking about nonprofits, and that was just so enlightening. And whether, you know, you can't take every single thing you hear for a grain, you know, as being 100% truth and everything's right, and you're not in those rooms when those decisions are being made as businesses or organizations. But you gotta like take what you're hearing from some of these things and make your own decisions. You know, are these the type of organizations that I want to put my money and my time into, are these the type of companies I want to spend my hard-earned money on to buy their product? What are they all about? So I think us as consumers and as people out there that can do as we please, you got to keep your eyes open, because we've all done it. I've watched marketing and I've seen, oh, this person's using this, it must be the greatest thing out there. And then once you get a little bit closer to it, you realize that, well, no, they were just given that for free and used it for 2 days and said it's the best product out there.
Yeah, but it's certain people there. So a lot of people aren't just getting stuff for free. Like you look at the big guys like Cam Haynes. He ain't just getting free Hoyt bows. Hoyt is paying him probably 6 figures to shoot their shit. I'm completely guessing.
He's got a bow,
yeah.
There's big money there.
Yeah, but so he's probably getting paid 6 figures. So there's people out there that are getting paid good money to wear a camo, to shoot a bow, to shoot a gun. So at the same token, like if that's how you're making your living, I don't think that's bad. And I'm absolutely, if it's a bow company where I like their equipment, because I'll be honest, compound bow is a compound bow. The only thing that I like to have in a compound bow is I like to have yokes, because I like to be able to yoke tune. I don't want to deal with taking the bow apart and shimming the cam left and right, putting the cam shims in. So if it's a decent bow company and I like the bow and they're like, hey, I'm going to give you 10 grand, just give me a free bow. I'll shoot it. Like my bow of choice right now is Hoyt, but if they were going to, I don't know, I think PSE doesn't have yokes anymore, but if PSE was going to give me a bow or Expedition was going to hook me up with a bow, I'm absolutely going to do it. But I'm a gearhead too. So I'd have a hard time sticking to one company. Like there's certain companies out there that I'll never be sponsored by, but I'm still going to speak highly of their products, like Kafaru. Their shit is good. Their packs, I wear backpacks for a living and I love them. I'm not sponsored by them, but they're goddamn good packs. So yeah, it's a mess though. It can be a mess if you really look into it. And yeah, like the Drurys, I can remember being kind of immature in my hunting phase, and the Drurys kill big deer, and I'm like, God dang, I bought a PSE bow because of the Drurys.
Yeah, me too.
They're putting big deer down. I was like, I need a PSE. The black rack. You remember the black rack?
The plastic rattling horns.
Yeah, and the extinguisher deer call.
Oh yeah, the extinguisher. Yeah,
good marketing, dude.
Hell yeah, marketing. Those videos were good, man.
Yeah, they're real good. Who's that dude that? Rod White, is that his name? Rod White is the guy I think that does it. He was an Olympic archer, but yeah, sold the shit out of the. I bought the setup.
Yeah. How many did it work or no?
I still have it. I still use it. The black rack I'll carry sometimes, but the extinguisher is not my favorite deer. I like being able to change it, but it's super quiet. I'm a fucking terrible whitetail hunter though. I overcall like a motherfucker. I am not built to sit still, dude. When I found elk hunting, I was like, this is for me. I got ADD. I know if something's gonna happen, I get immediate feedback, like rip a grunt, and then I'm all right, nothing's coming, so I better rip another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just
I'm
like
not
elk
built
hunting,
for whitetail hunting.
If they're not responding to the call, you don't need to worry about them. It's not your animal.
Shit. I've ripped calls and then sat down and was fucking around with my phone, and then in comes a buck, and I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah.
Now I can't stand. But yeah, so it is. I mean, yeah, if you're new and getting into hunting, you definitely. I think that's just a stage that everybody's going to go through, though. They're going to find that one person that strongly influences them because they're an influencer, and they're going to get. I mean, you see it all the time. You see dudes. If Aaron Snyder told people what brand of underwear he was wearing, or told people, he could tell people he's wearing 500 D Cordura underwear. And my buddy John said that to me the other day. He's like, Snyder could say people are wearing 500 D Cordura underwear. People buy the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
probably would. You wouldn't have to wash it. It's some good high quality stuff,
Yeah. They're just fucking chafe your butthole.
Yeah. And you gotta, I'm a Snyder leg humper. I listen to his stuff. I own
Oh yeah.
everything Kafaru, but like, I don't know. He's one of those guys I feel like I can trust because he's not like, he's using a lot of different things and he's pretty honest about what he's using and what he's used in the past. But you gotta, again, it's the same conversation. You can get really like tunnel visioned on like, I got to use this product or got to use this thing.
Yeah.
So it's to each his own. And I think you hit the point of like, you got to find the influencers or the people that you're following that speak to you. And, that's why I think it's good. Like guys like you that are just regular dudes going out there and doing it. And in 3 years shooting 2 bulls, like you're a guy that I want to pay attention to because you're just a regular guy that's doing that on a 1 week or 2 week a year deal. And that's what we're trying to do with this podcast is that, we're regular guys and have regular jobs. And it's like, you don't need to have that stuff to be successful. You can go out and put animals down, and we all get into that. I got to check myself sometimes too, because I'm to the point where I'm buying nice gear and having high quality stuff. And it's like, you don't need that. I catch myself posting pictures and, oh, it's mail day. I got my new Kafaru bag. I'm fired up about that. But to my brother-in-law who's new to hunting, he's like, oh God, do I got to buy a $300 bag?
Fuck yeah, you do. It'll change your life.
Yeah, right. Well, it's like, you got to kind of like understand that there's people watching you and there's people trying to see like, what do you do to have your success? Like, you don't need all that stuff, build your gear out, but you don't need to have that from square one.
Yeah. And I always tell guys like, cause it kind of irks me, and it irks me, but it also kind of motivates me to kind of explain it to people. And that's another thing I like about social media is guys are like, oh man, an elk hunt, that's my dream hunt. I'm like, then why haven't you gone and done it? Like, go do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quit drinking, quit going to B-dubs for buy one, get one free wing night for 6 months and save the money you spend there. And you've got enough for a tag and gas to get you out there. Cut something else out and you got enough for your food and you're good to go. Like, people don't, they just like, it's a dream hunt. And then the gear thing, they're like, well, what gear do I need? And I'll tell them, like, this is the pack I use, but it's expensive, but it's good and it'll last you the rest of your life. But you don't need it. If all you have is a JanSport, then go get after it with a JanSport and feel the suck and enjoy it. As long as you're getting out there and getting the experience, it's not right. the gear, the money spent on gear that you can't buy experience, but
no.
You can buy gear. And if it comes to, unless it's something like mission critical, right? Like if I'm going to Alaska and I don't have good rain gear, I'm going to spend the money on some rain gear. But unless it's mission critical to have it, then it's just nice to have. If it's not something that's going to save your life or keep you alive, then I'm going to, when it comes to backpacks, I'm always going to tell people Kafaru, but if they can't afford it, I'm not going to be like, oh no, if you can't get a Kafaru, don't. No. If you can't get a Kafaru, here's some other options, right? Here's a frame pack. You can go get an Alps Outdoors from Cabela's for like $40, $100, and you're probably going to wish you saved that $100 for a Kafaru, but you're going to be all right out there with it.
Yeah.
So.
No doubt. I think that's probably a good spot to wrap this up because I think that's we talked a lot tonight. I wasn't quite sure exactly what the hell we were going to talk about.
We talked about bus stops.
We did.
Garage.
But we talked a ton about elk hunting and a lot of your success. And I like where we kind of wrapped it up there is that, make your decisions. Don't sit around in your butt. Get out there and do it. And, it might be your dream hunt, but you can make that dream hunt be this year's hunt. It doesn't have to wait. So
yeah, it doesn't. Plan and prioritize.
Yep.
Plan and prioritize. That's all you got to do.
Absolutely, man.
A couple of regular guys like us can afford to do it. So can you. Believe me.
No doubt. No doubt. Thanks for your time, Mike. It's fun chatting with you. Nice getting to know you a little bit. And we'll have to stay in touch. Maybe get you on here again and see how your fall hunt in Colorado goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Stay in touch, buddy. Take it easy.
Bye.
All right. See ya.